Can somebody tell me why conservative politicians keep buying leather footwear for people they want to subordinate? Like, everyone has probably heard about how the diddler in chief was buying florshems for guys with tight booties, right? Oftentimes giving them ones that didn't really fit, but people were wearing them anyway because nobody wanted to look ungrateful. Recently, Danielle Smith apparently has given BC Premier David Eby a set of cowboy boots, and apparently he's wearing them at the Premier's meeting. Now, I have so many questions about what leads up to something like this. First of all, were I in Eby's shoes, literally, I would have handed these off to a staffer and maybe seen about wearing them days later when I'm not doing negotiations and they wouldn't possibly throw me off my game. But I would not get up and speak or negotiate in shoes that my body was not accustomed to because I know it would throw me off. And I suspect that that is part of Danielle's strategy. On the surface, it may seem as if she's just trying to do the whole I give you something and you feel indebted to me, so you feel like you need to give me something, playing on that natural human instinct to be reciprocal. But Danielle doesn't have that. And while I wouldn't put it past her to think in those terms, I think that there is more to it. I suspect part of her strategy is to have an influence over Eby's body. She wants to ensure that he feels out of place for the whole weekend, and she's hoping he won't be insightful enough to know what feels off. Beyond that, when I was studying the Old Testament in Bible college, I learned that just like how a cigar isn't always just a cigar, in the Bible, a foot or a leg or a thigh is almost never actually a foot or a leg or a thigh. It's something else. Except, of course, when Jesus is washing the disciples' feet, then he literally is washing their feet, but there is that subtext, which your preacher did not tell you about. Buying and then pressuring someone else to wear footwear is a power move. And either Eby thinks he can lull Danielle into a false sense of security, or he's just clueless. I'm not sure which one. I have noticed that he's already seems to be caving to the idea that BC is just going to give in to Alberta, which, like, oh man, why is it that nobody who isn't a right winger can like just negotiate on a hard line with people? Like, Danielle can be like, trans people aren't allowed to live in our province, and the rest of Canada's like, okay, we'll give you a pipeline. Lastly, I want to talk about Danielle's outfit. This is what happens when all the gays in your province hate you. I do want to point out that I think that she's planning on playing on color association. She is aware that her big stupid referendum is killing her in the polls. She looks like a child who can't even take charge of her own caucus, and she knows that while in the past she's been able to profit off of and gain power by catering to the separatists, they're getting tired of her future faking them, and they're about to oust her. And at the same time, she wants all of her peers at the table to give her a pass on her incredibly immature behavior. So she's wearing the color white. The color white people naturally associate with cleanliness, blamelessness, all of those things. I'm not saying that you should associate it with that. I'm saying that the majority of people will naturally associate that color with those things. But this is screaming, did I do that? And I don't think Danielle realizes that she does not have the charm to pull that off. You don't get to pretend one moment that you're a mastermind, and then in the other second be a helpless damsel who needs to be saved from the fire you caused.